Make no mistake, abortion is going to be on the ballot this November. If the Supreme Court does choose to overturn Roe v. Wade, it will be up to each state to decide if, when, and under what circumstances a woman will be able to get an abortion. Some states like California have made it clear that they will codify a woman's right to choose in that state's constitution. But places like Louisiana, they're going in the opposite direction. Lawmakers there have just introduced a bill classifying abortion as a homicide. And then there are states like Ohio. Between 2010 and 2020, anti-abortion activists pushed through 24 limits on abortion in the Ohio General Assembly. More recently, Ohio's Republican governor, Mike DeWine, has signed a number of bills restricting abortion in his state. One of them would ban abortion after just 6 weeks of pregnancy, before many women even know that they are pregnant. A federal court blocked that bill from taking effect, but Governor DeWine is urging his attorney general to take action and to try to get the court to lift the stay. DeWine has also indicated that he would sign legislation to ban all abortions in Ohio should Roe v. Wade be overturned. Governor DeWine is up for re-election this year, and he's made it very clear that he plans to run on this specific issue. But where do Ohio voters stand on abortion? Well, a poll taken after that 6-week ban was signed in 2019 gives us a clue. It found that 52% of Ohio voters opposed the ban and just 39% supported it. But remember, this is a state that flipped from Obama to Trump in 2016, a state that President Joe Biden couldn't win in 2020. But with abortion rights now front and center, Democrats have a chance to take this critical issue before Ohio's voters and ask them, are you willing to support draconian restrictions put into place by Republican politicians? In swing states especially, Democrats might have a unique opportunity to capitalize on the GOP's radical stance on abortion. A recent Harvard study found that 58% of voters who flipped from Obama to Trump in 2016 said that they would support a law that would, quote, always allow a woman to obtain an abortion as a matter of choice. So my question is, for Democratic candidates in November, are you prepared to fight for abortion rights and make your campaign as much about that as anything else? Joining me now is Nan Whaley. She is the former mayor of Dayton, and just this week, she won the Democratic nomination in the race for governor of Ohio. Thank you so much for being here with us. You are the very first female candidate to be any major party's nominee for governor in the state of Ohio. Your running mate is also a woman. I want to ask you, given what's about to possibly happen to abortion rights in your own state, is this an issue that you plan on making a centerpiece of your campaign now?
Well, thanks, Katie. And yeah, the short answer is yes. I mean, this is a key issue. It's one of the key issues for me as a woman, and have spent my entire career fighting for access to abortion against Mike DeWine and his cronies because, you know, they don't believe in the decision, these tough decisions being between a woman, her doctor, and her family, and really want to get in the room about it. And it's gotten pretty tough even before the leaked documents around Roe happened Monday. 2 weeks ago, they were discussing a trigger bill in the state house. And one of the reps actually was hypothetically talking about a 13-year-old girl who was raped and said that the rape would have been an opportunity for her. Mike DeWine has said nothing, has not called this out as extreme. And that's the kind of politics we're seeing around abortion access in this state, because Mike DeWine has been in office for 46 years, and he has been waiting for this moment to make sure that he has been on the record as far as saying even birth control should be questionable in Ohio. Really extreme radical ideas coming out of Governor DeWine around a woman's access to health decisions and her access to abortion.
You know, Nan, the polling actually seems to suggest, as what you're saying, a majority of Ohio voters support a woman's right to choose. But for years, Ohio voters have been electing Republicans who have consistently pushed through abortion restrictions. You're our boots on the ground there in Ohio. How do you explain that inconsistency?
Well, I think it's just the issue that it hasn't been front and center. And frankly, the decision that we know is coming down, and we've been talking about it, frankly, on our campaign since the beginning of the year, that this is going to happen. And the last stop on women's health care access and women's access to abortion is the governor's office. And so we expected this, unfortunately. And I think what is happening across the state of Ohio is people are seeing it to be real. And so this is going to be a much bigger issue than it's normally been because we've had the protection of Roe. When we had the protection of Roe, this wasn't an issue that people thought that they needed to vote on. Like, I am 46 years old. Roe's been in place for 49 years. Women my age and younger never really believed that this could happen. And what's sad is older women had told us they were right. It is happening, and it is going to be a centerpiece because now it's in the hands of the governor. Before, we were protected by the Supreme Court, and that is no longer the case in Ohio.
When you are elected governor, Nan, what is the first thing that you will do to protect abortion rights in your state?
Well, look, we have an extreme legislature that Mike DeWine is also afraid of and will veto any bill that comes across our desk that restricts abortion access and women's health care access. Secondly, we're going to appoint a pro-choice public health director in our cabinet. So where we can have opportunities to expand access, the governor's position, again, has a lot of power. We will do that. We know how important this is. And look, this is, number one, a fundamental right for women. But secondly, it has a lot to do with expansion and growth in Ohio. If Ohio takes away women's health care decisions and access and puts Governor DeWine in the hospital room, companies aren't going to be interested in growing and thriving where women aren't able to make their own decisions. So it's going to have ripple effects past even just the incredibly difficult decisions, the cost that this will make to Ohio women across the state to leave the state, if they can afford that. And in addition, all of that will be really difficult, and it will push Ohio way, way back.
I know this is not your race, but let's be frank. Republicans in your state, though, just nominated the Trump-endorsed J.D. Vance in the race for Senate. What is that telling you about the state of the Republican electorate in Ohio right now?
Well, look, the Republican Party primary is a very extreme primary. We know that. In my race, too, the governor didn't even get 50% of the vote. So there's a lot going on in the Republican Party that is very, very split. And so, we are excited about the discussion of the general. Ohio is not a red or blue state. It's a frustrated state. It's been ignored by incumbents for decades, and regular folks have been getting further and further behind. They're getting paid less money, and their bills are going up. And we need some common sense folks running our state that are from the working class. And we think there's a big opportunity in that with both myself and Tim Ryan as the candidate for U.S. Senate.
Nan, quickly, in the time that I have left, I have one last question for you. I want to ask you about another critical issue that is on everybody's mind, and that's gun control. You were the mayor of Dayton during that horrific mass shooting in 2019, and around that time, you were very vocal against Donald Trump, saying that his comments on gun control were unhelpful. I went and I took a look at your campaign website. The issue of gun control is not anywhere in the policy section of that site. Do you plan to tackle gun control in the state of Ohio when you're elected governor?
Yeah, look, this is an issue we talk about all the time. And frankly, Katie, it's something people know about me because of the tragedy that happened in Dayton. And we talk every day, frankly, about how Mike DeWine stood on a stage with me and said he, too, would do something. And never in my worst nightmare did I actually think he would do something to make it worse. Since he has made those statements to Dayton, he has signed bills that make our communities less safe, like Stand Your Ground and permitless concealed carry. And those even make police officers less safe and make our communities less safe. So this is something we talk about every single day. People are well known about my position. I was very proud to be the local leader of the year by every town. They only choose one, and I was chosen for the entire country. And we know we need to make our communities more safe. And that is where Mike DeWine has walked away from because he's too afraid of the extremists in his party over and over and over again. And common sense gun safety is just one of the latest examples.
Well, we're going to keep a close eye on your campaign and race. Nan Whaley, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Katie. Thanks a lot for the time.
Of course.